Good morning. I'm Mary, and I don't know if everybody's got their notifications or not. I don't know what's happening to Facebook where people are not getting their notifications, but play with your phone, go in the settings, and make sure your notifications are on. There's so many different phones out there until I can't really tell you how to go about doing your notifications, but we just hope that you start getting notified when we are going live. And this week and next week is going to be a little bit different and odd because our schedules are different. Normally it's just Tuesdays and Wednesdays that Linda and I cook together. But for the this week and next week, well, which I guess today is Thursday, so it's not much left out of this week. But we're kind of dividing it up, and the reason for that is we're trying to get you more recipes during the holidays. And to do that, we're going to have to cook some by ourselves, and that's not our thing. We don't like doing that, but we just can't be together every day because of the distance and the miles. It's just too hard on us, is what it is. You would think an hour and 15 hour and a half one way, which is almost 3 hours a day driving, might not seem like a lot, but it is to us at our age. It's tired, besides doing the videos and other things that we have to do. We're having company, and there's so many things going on right now. We just can't be together every day. So anyway, we're going to do this, and so y'all can get more recipes. Now, if y'all seen my video yesterday afternoon, I made the filling. Well, I already had the filling made, but I told you how to do it. The pineapple filling that goes in between this coconut cake and the frosting. Now, I want to stop here and tell y'all that I was not blaming Linda for those egg whites. It wasn't Linda's fault that those egg whites did not turn out right. It was my fault because I didn't know how to use them. After I talked to Linda, she uses them all the time, the egg whites in the carton. And she told me I didn't use enough egg whites. So I was just going by what said on the box. But, Linda is a better baker, and she's more experienced. She's done a lot more, so she knew how to use them. And so I should have asked her more questions before I used it. But anyway, I just want to let you know, because we did get some comments, that I was blaming Linda for my icing not turning out right. And actually, it turned out okay. It just wasn't what I was used to. So get that out of the way. Linda and I don't badmouth my sister. But anyway, it probably sounded that way. But today, I'm going to show you how to make the cake. I'm not doing the complete cake today. I kind of did it backwards, because the reason for that is because I needed to have the cake baked already before I come on camera. So today I'm doing the cake batter. It's a big coconut cake. I'm only going to do 2 layers. I said yesterday that I was thinking about doing 3 8-inch, and then I got to thinking about it. That would make that cake so tall I couldn't get my container lid on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 2 layers just like I had yesterday. First thing I do is preheat my oven to 350. Then I grease. I buttered. I buttered 2 9-inch pans, and then I took my pan and I took parchment paper and I traced around the bottom part and cut it out, a circle. If you don't have your rounds, you already have your, you could order these rounds, the parchment paper, but I don't have any. Linda does. So I make my own. I cut a circle out, and then I cut strips. And let me tell you, so y'all won't get confused, some of you may get frustrated. A lot of people, when they give you recipes, they really don't tell you those things that you already know that's going to happen. So I'm telling you now, when you cut your little 1-inch strips out of parchment paper to put on here, it's not going to go in this complete circle. So I cut mine in about 2 to 3 inches, about 3 inches strips. The reason for that, it will lay down flat. So I'm just telling you, if you cut strips to go all the way around this on one strip, it's not going to fit right. So cut them, you can tell. You overlap them, you can tell. See where I overlapped them? After you butter your pan, or grease it, however you want to do it, Crisco or butter, grease your pan and then cut your circles out, and then you put the parchment paper down and the little strips around. Then you butter again, or use Crisco or grease, shortening, and then do your strips and your base. I don't know if or let me look and see if I'm having problems. Y'all can hear me? My phone's a ringing. I don't know who it is. Okay. Anyway, it just have to ring. So anyway, you butter or add shortening on the bottom of your pan and then on top of your parchment paper. Okay, I'm gonna set those aside. I'm gonna put the thing. I have got 2 sticks and 1/4 a stick of butter, unsalted butter. Now, if your butter doesn't come in sticks, then it's 1 cup and 1/4. 1 cup and 1/4 of unsalted butter. And I've already got we use Imperial sugar. I've already beat this a little bit with my paddle beater. I've already beat it some, and I'll tell you why, is because you want that butter, you want it creamy and fluffy. And so I didn't want to beat I don't want to beat no longer than I have to. So I've already beat this just a little bit. And then I scraped the edges down so the butter would be back down in the bottom. Now I'm going to beat it some more and add some sugar. And it takes 2.5 cups of Imperial sugar. And Imperial sugar is extra fine. And you may not have Imperial around your place, your area, but it is extra fine. So I'm going to beat my butter. And like I said, I've already whipped it till it's fluffy. Now I'm going to add some sugar. And when you have to put your sugar in there kind of slow, because it'll just come back up like powder. Because this sugar is so fine, it's like a powder whenever you're beating it. It's just little things that you don't know unless you've done it a while. And that parchment paper is one of them, and also fluffing your butter. Your butter needs to be room temperature, soft, before you put it in here. Not melted. Do not melt your shortening. There is a difference in melted butter than just soft butter. So, let me get this in here. Okay. I haven't talked to my little Linda this morning. I've talked to my sister. She's doing fine. She's like me, she's always working. I have a lot to do today. Today and tomorrow is a big day for me because we've got Fall Fest. I've got a lot of preparation to do at the church today. Now I got to scrape down my bowl. When you're beating with a stand mixer, you have to stop and scrape down the sides so that it'll all get beat good and incorporate. If you're using a hand mixer, you can rotate with your hand with the beaters around the edges. But if you've got a stand mixer like this, or any kind of stand mixer, you're going to have to scrape those sides down a couple of times. But I want that good and fluffy. Make sure the sugar and the butter incorporates good. You don't want to taste granules of sugar. So if you fluff it good, you won't have that problem. All right. I'm going to scrape it down one more time. One more time. And then I'm using 5 whole eggs, and they need to be room temperature. So I've had these out just a little while. They're not warm. You don't want warm, but they just don't have that cold chill on them. So I'm gonna put 1 egg at a time in here. You beat it after each egg. And I'm going to scrape the sides down again. This is not a quick cake. I mean, it's not hard, but it's just, you have to be patient and do it right for it to turn out the best. Okay, let me do it again. I'm thinking about my grandkids, my granddaughters that are coming this week. I'm excited about that. Mindy doesn't get to come as often as Shelly and Miranda does, but I'm really excited about them. Now Mindy, she works in a bakery in Altus, Oklahoma, and she started out working in the library. Mindy, my oldest granddaughter, she loves books. And that's how she started working at the library. And she said she felt like she was in hog heaven. She just loved it. But they had a little bakery connected to the library, and she's very talented. So they found out that she liked to cook. And so she does a lot of their baking, a lot. So I'm hoping that she would join me in one of my lives. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna see if she'll make us some homemade rolls. She makes rolls, but I don't think she would do it on camera. But when I do the enchiladas, and she may not want to, and that's okay if she don't. She's very talented. She's not just a good baker. She's an artist. I mean, really an artist. She can draw a picture of you with a pencil. She's really, and so whenever when you have that talent and you bake, then you can decorate just all kind of beautiful ways. Let me get the camera over here. Whoops. See how light and fluffy that is? I'm trying to show y'all. All right, now I've got one more thing to put in this, and that is my flavoring, my extract. I opened a new bottle this morning, so all right, let me make sure I get the right measurements on this vanilla. Okay, it's 1 tablespoon and 1/2 tablespoon. That's a lot of vanilla, but I'm using the vanilla. I'm using 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and then I'm going to use 1/2 tablespoon of coconut extract. Let me get this camera back a little bit so you can see. This is not imitation coconut flavoring. This is coconut extract. I'm going to use 1/2 tablespoon of it because this is a coconut cake. You don't have to put the coconut extract in there. You can do the tablespoon and 1/2 tablespoon of just regular vanilla if you want to, but that's just something I do. So this is 1/2 tablespoon. This is a good cake. All right, now I'm going to mix that in. Whoops. You know me. Let me get my rag. Turn it on a little bit too high. You know, I don't think I could do a video if I didn't mess up, if I didn't make some kind of boo-boo. You know what it is? I can't work and talk. I guess I can because I do, but it's something. I guess it's being on camera. I don't know, but anyway, truthfully, I don't make those kind of messes when I'm not on camera. So maybe it's the camera. I don't know, but I had to break down the sides again because that flavoring. This is a lot of mixing, but it's important because once you put the flour in there, you don't mix a lot. You just incorporate when you do the flour. Okay, I think I've done that enough. Now I'm going to do the dry ingredients. I tried to put this together. I'm going to put this is 3 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now I will tell you, this is unbleached flour, but it doesn't have to be. Unbleached flour is just a little bit lighter, but that's 3 3/4 cup of flour, and I put it in this bowl so I could mix up the rest of the things that goes in it. This is baking powders. And it's 1 teaspoon, 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powders. That's 1 teaspoon. This is actually a 1/2 teaspoon, and then I'm just going to do a little bit more, 1/4. So that's 1 3/4 of teaspoon of baking powders. This is the baking soda. A 1/2 teaspoon. I'm looking at this recipe because I don't want to mess up because I'm baking this cake to take to the Fall Bazaar. A 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I gotta get some salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. And this is something that Linda and I both do. Sometimes I'll make a cake that I'm using a cake mix with. And the secret to making a good cake with the cake mix is your Jell-O instant pudding. You use that. And on this recipe, where's my tablespoon? I am putting 2 tablespoons of vanilla instant, not the cooked kind, instant. 2 tablespoons of instant Jell-O pudding in here. And what the Jell-O pudding does, it kind of gives it a little more dense. You know how cakes sometimes fall apart? This kind of gives it a little bit of stability. So I put 2 tablespoons. And you wonder what you do with the rest of it? Well, I'd use 2 tablespoons of the same package in my cake I made the other day, and then 2 tablespoons today. I still got enough to do another cake in there, and I just save it. All right, now I got to get all my dry ingredients mixed up, and that's why I put it in this bowl, is try to get all that incorporated in here. And now I'm going to alternate flour. I'm going to get a spoon or a measuring cup. Get a measuring cup so I won't splatter it. Now I'm going to put this flour in here, and I'm going to turn it on low so it won't splatter. I do have a guard to go on this, but it seems like it gets in my way, so I'm just going to keep it on low. I just put part of it in there, and then I put, this is buttermilk. This is 1.5 cups of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, or you can't find it, I couldn't even find any buttermilk. The store just did not have it. I went to 3 stores. I make my buttermilk, and Linda does that, I think, all the time. But you use 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon of either lemon juice or white vinegar to 1 cup of regular whole milk. And that makes buttermilk. So I made my buttermilk. I'll put a little bit of that in there. And it makes buttermilk. So you just kind of alternate your flour and your buttermilk. You always start with your flour and you end with your flour when you're making batter. Put a little bit more buttermilk. I'm going to scrape down the sides. You don't want to not scrape down your sides, because if you don't, the sides not getting incorporated in there, you'll wind up with a lot of dough, and you don't want just parts of dough, clumps, just in your batter. I have to be careful at this point because it's getting thicker, and it'll throw that flour right out of there. Yeah, when I get through with the cake, I'll be going to the church, and I'll be at the church until I get everything completely done that can be done in prep for tomorrow. All you prayer warriors, say a prayer for us, because all the ladies are so tired. It's not just me. We've done a lot of work for the last month. And actually, there's some of the ladies that's done more work than I have, because I wasn't able to be with each group. I assigned different groups to take care of different things, and some of them I didn't get to help because it just didn't work in my schedule when their schedule was that they were going to do it. Better get some buttermilk in there. Be careful. I'm not putting much at a time because I probably got it on too high speed. I think I'll turn it down a little bit. And after Thanksgiving, after our food fest, then we'll have Thanksgiving, and then it'll be Christmas. It'll be here before you know it. I always get real excited about Christmas. I'm going to stir that buttermilk up. It's really made buttermilk. A little bit more in there. I enjoy cooking, baking. I enjoy it all. It's just I don't have time to do as much baking as I'd like to do. Okay. Just about through. Anything that tastes really good, it takes time to do it. Okay, I'm going to scrape down the sides one more time. Okay. Now I'm gonna put the rest of my flour in there. Okay. Get that stirred up. Give it one good stir. Alrighty. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. But that's how the batter looks. I'm trying to be cameraman and everything this morning. Let me get the batter off the paddle. I hope I went slow enough with the ingredients that y'all can get it down. And try this cake. It's really a good cake. Alrighty, I think I got about all I can get off of it. And then I'm gonna, it's really thick. Let me get the camera around where you can see me. It's really thick, the batter is. It's kind of hard for me to hold this. It's heavy. I don't, some people measures, but I don't, you know. I just divide it. The cake pans are full. Now before I get that last bit out, I'm gonna level these cakes, level it out to see which pan might need a little bit more in it. The batter is thick and it is a full pan. You just use your spatula. Let me move this over a little bit. Use your spatula to take your spread your batter around to the edge because the cake batter is thick. Now, I just about got that pretty even, but I'll put a little more in this one. And when I first made this, I thought, man, that cake pan is so full, it's going to run over. But it didn't. It did not run over. So, don't worry about it running over because it won't. At least it didn't. Get all my cake off here. I'm not going to keep y'all on the air while it cooks. I showed y'all the cake yesterday, how it looks when it comes out of the oven. But I may post a picture after I get it out of the oven. Now, get that off there. What I do is I hit it on the counter and shake it. Some cakes you can't do that on, but this you can. Kind of pack it down. What that's doing is getting air bubbles out of it. And I think this is more of an old thing that we used to do. Because I don't think bakers do that now, but that's the way I was raised. So I'm gonna put it in the cake, put it in the oven and time it for 30 minutes. Now, cook it for 30 minutes, test it with a toothpick or a cake tester and in the center. And if it's not done, cook it, try it. It depends on how done, but don't try it about every 2 minutes or no more than 5 more minutes because I don't think it's going to take longer than that. It kind of depends on your ovens. Now, what I do next is when I get the cake out, I put it on racks and I let it cool in the pan for 10 minutes. Then what I do is I take the cake and put it into a plate. And then after I put it in the plate, then I dump it back on the rack again. I want the bottom crust on the rack. And the reason for that is because that cake is still going to be hot, and you put that cake with that top down on that on that rack, it's going to leave lines and crosses, whatever your rack print on there. If you flip that cake and put it on that rack with the bottom part on your rack, that's not going to happen. So that's what I do. And then I have a simple syrup. I made simple syrup. It's nothing but equal parts of water and equal parts of sugar. So you take a half a cup of sugar and a half a cup of water, put it in a little boiler, and just barely let it come to a boil, just till it dissolves. You don't want to cook it because it'll turn to candy and syrup. Just get it just to boil. Just get it boiled and then stop. Take it off the burner, and then I poke holes in my cake while it's still warm. I poke holes in the top of the cake, and then I poured out. Actually, I use a pastry brush, and I take that simple syrup and I just go over the top. Some of that simple syrup is going to go down into, oh, I just thought of something. I left the coconut out of the cake. I knew if I didn't take that coconut over there. Anyway, it's still a coconut cake. It's got coconut flavoring in it, and what I will do is I'll put coconut in between the layers with the pineapple. And, of course, I'll put coconut on top. And, truthfully, I don't always put coconut in the batter. Sometimes I don't. So, it really doesn't matter. I got the coconut flavoring in it. And I have to have my ingredients right here in front of me. But, anyway, you can add a cup of shredded coconut flakes in your batter if you want to. But you don't have to. Some people don't even like it. Matter of fact, I've done more cakes without putting the coconut in it than I have with the coconut because of something my Aunt Elsie told me one time. She told me that the coconut, it gets gummy. But now she told me that on coconut pies. So I just related that it could be the same way in cakes. I really don't think it is, though. I really don't think that makes a cake gummy. But anyway, put a cup of coconut in your batter if you want coconut in it. I'm just going to add some more coconut in my pineapple filling. I got the filling already made. I'm just going to put a layer of coconut in the filling whenever I put the layers together. Going back to your simple syrup. This is simple syrup. It's just sugar and water. And I poke holes in it while it's warm. And then it'll soak down in your cake. Now, if you want to freeze this cake or save it to the next day after you cook the cake, what you want to do is when the cake gets almost not cold, just barely warm, not hot, but when it's still a little warm, wrap that cake in saran wrap while it's warm. It will hold that moisture in when it's frozen. So you can put in it just barely warm, not hot. Put saran wrap and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it. I would wrap it this way, and then I turn the cake, and then I wrap it this way, and then I wrap it again. I wrap it 3 or 4 times. You do not want no air get inside that cake while it's in the freezer. And you can, and like I said, if you put it in there while it's just barely warm and you wrap it, it holds that moisture into that cake. So that's just another little tip that we have in baking our cakes and freezing them. And then you bring that cake out and let it thaw out. I don't let it completely thaw out even when I start to frost it. It's still cold. It's not frozen, but it's still cold. It icens a lot better too if the cake is almost frozen. So that's another tip. And I'm not going to keep y'all longer because I've got even some preparation. I got to clean up the kitchen and all that before I go to the church. And it's only going to take 30 minutes for that cake to cook. I will take a picture of it and show you what it looks like in the pan whenever when it comes out of the oven. I will show you that. So, and then you've seen the cake. If y'all are wanting the frosting and the pineapple filling, go to the video that I made yesterday, and you'll see a cake completed. And that frosting still, it was fine. It was fine. So you can use your egg whites in a carton, or you can break your eggs. I just didn't want to break 5 eggs just to get the whites, and that's why I bought the carton of eggs. But don't forget to count your blessings. have a wonderful weekend. It looks like it's a little cool, but around here in my area, it looks like we're going to have a beautiful weekend. So just get out and enjoy it, and go shopping, buy your things for your Thanksgiving dinner, and look forward to seeing some of your relatives. And if you don't have any relatives or someone close, just try to find a neighbor or something, and see if you can't just say happy Thanksgiving or whatever. And if you have a neighbor that you know that's not going to have anyone with them, or are elderly, or are not able to get out, fix them a plate and take it to them. So anyway, pass your blessings on to someone else. It always comes back to you. That's what I tell my kids. It never hurts to be extra good, because it will. It pays off in the end. The Lord blesses you for it. Thank y'all so much, and look forward to seeing y'all again next week. So y'all have a blessed weekend, and don't forget to count your blessings. Bye-bye.